My name is Linda Stage. I've lived here at Parkview Villa for 6 years. Before that, I was homeless. When I knew I was going to be homeless, I must have called 50 places. Truly, I have the list back in the apartment. And I was 61. Low-income senior housing, you have to be 62. So that was kind of out. And there's no place to go. Even the shelters were full, except for one that said I could sleep on the floor for a week before I got to bed. Well, I'd be on the floor the whole week. I don't think I could have gotten up. Not only did I get divorced then, I was diagnosed with 3 chronic conditions that I'm sure I had in the past, I just didn't know about. And it was a really, really hard time. And stable housing at that time would have made all the difference in the world. I could have dealt with what was going on with me. As it was, I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I know where to put my insulin. What do you do with it when you're homeless? I was also on a drug called Humira for colitis, and that needs to be refrigerated. What do? And I don't think people think about that it's not just not having a place for you, it's having a place for everything. And when an older woman gets divorced or widowed or whatever, the job opportunities aren't there. Nobody wants to hire a 65-year-old woman. I mean, Target or McDonald's, but that's not a living wage. So what do? Where do we go? And I wish there was more focus on that. Everybody needs housing, but I think some sectors are overlooked. I've seen people here lose their jobs because of the pandemic, and have to go on public assistance. I don't think they call it that anymore, but you know what I mean. And to some of them, that was one of the hardest things they'd ever done, is to have to ask for help like that. People can be very proud of their independence, rightfully so. This is my perception, but I feel like people think that homeless people are lazy, that if they didn't want to be homeless, they could go out and get a job and they could make their own changes in their lives, that they're kind of choosing to be homeless because it's easy, but it's not easy, and a lot of people aren't choosing. And especially now after COVID and with all the inflation and everything, a lot of us, me too, are one paycheck away from losing our homes. I'm on Social Security, but if for some reason, that went away, me and a lot of my friends would be out on the street. And I don't think people think about that. It's not really a choice. It's just happens. And that's why it's important to have that help in place, so people don't have to go through that. And it is stressful, even when you're living paycheck to paycheck. That's a stress people don't think about. Because, I can manage without a car, but there are people who can't. And what do? Do you not eat? Do you not get your meds? Do you get your car fixed? And that's horrible. So it's so important, and they need to see that it isn't anybody's fault. It's the way it is. But we do have it in our power, especially now with the surplus, to fix it.